Alright, what's up and welcome to King D Gaming Tech. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 specs. Now, I'm saying at the first beginning of this video, now PlayStation basically did get smacked with the specs, you know what I'm saying? Xbox, they slapped them good with the specs and stuff like that. But PlayStation is not as bad as everybody's making it out to seem or whatever. Now, it is worse. I mean, I'm not going to hold you up, but here we go with the first spec right here, and then I'm gonna go into all of them a little bit more in depth or whatever. So it has eight cores, 16 threads of Zen 2 cores or whatever. So they're going to be a variable a frequency of, I mean, they can go up and down or whatever depending on the temperatures or whatever. So it'll be running at 3.5 gigahertz, and the yeah, basically for the most part of it, everybody is trying to make it seem like it's going to be running slower than that or whatever, because it's going to get hot and it's going to clock down or whatever. But actually in the video he said that in their testing they ran it like at the highest. They put like the highest game they can or the hottest game that they could possibly find in there or whatever, and they ran it with their new cooling solution or whatever. So majority of the time these numbers that they give you, it should be running at these numbers majority of the time, except for the games that just go above and beyond or whatever, and then those games is gonna clock down a small percentage. He says it's gonna clock down a small percentage, not a large percentage. So it's not gonna jump all the way down to some other number like 2.1 or something like that. No, it's not gonna do that. So so that's it for basically for the CPU, and then for the GPU, it's gonna be RDNA 2. It's RDNA 2 based graphics engine. Now you have other YouTube channels out here that's saying that it's gonna be it's only based or whatever. So that means they're using RDNA 1 or whatever, and they're putting like some RDNA they're using RDNA 2 cores and stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense. So I mean, you could put assets from RDNA, like from different RDNA, like different assets or whatever, but the cores is actually the GPU. I mean, or the CUs are actually the GPU. So you can't put these CPUs inside of this GPU. I mean, it's just not. It's not going to work like that. So basically, the base of it is RDNA 2. So that means that it's RDNA 2 cores. Everything is basically RDNA 2. Except for they cut it all the way down to save money. They cut it all the way down to, what did they say was in it? It's I'm looking at the at the sheet right here or whatever, but it's 35 cores or something like that. 36 cores, 36 CUs. So they cut it all the way down to 36 CUs from wherever it was. So I'm guessing if it was like 56 where Xboxes is, they cut it all the way down to 36 CU cores, but it's still RDNA 2. It's not something else or whatever like that. If you actually look at the video when he was talking about it, he said it's some stuff. The reason why they call it a custom or whatever, or based, is because it was some stuff that they didn't need actually in for their GPU. So they basically took it out and put the stuff they needed in there. But it's they used the RDNA 2 architecture, so it's RDNA 2. So okay, then they have accelerated. They have a ray tracing with acceleration, the same as Xbox has. When you go on the Xbox site, which I'm going to put both pictures in here from both sites or whatever, it says that they have. Well, on the Xbox, I don't think they have it on theirs, but they have it in when you read it. I'm not going to copy all that. But both of them are ray tracing acceleration or whatever, which they are the engines. They are engines, so they are hardware based. Both of them. The PlayStation is called the intersection engine. And I believe the Xbox is called the DirectX engine. I believe they're doing their ray tracing off of that engine. But both of them are hardware based and everything. And the way that they work is, the way the PlayStations work is it goes into there, and it their engine works with the shaders. So their engine is doing the work and is working with their shaders to do the ray tracing. So it's not the actual GPU that's doing the ray tracing. It's their engine that's doing the ray tracing and taking the shaders from the what the GPU have and doing it like that. So it's whatever, it's hardware. But let me see here. That's going to be ran at 2.23 gigahertz, which is going to be 10.3 teraflops. Now, like I said before, everybody on their YouTube channel, or some people on their YouTube channel, that's trying to make that out to it's going to get hot because they're acting like it's going to have the same cooling system as the PlayStation 4, and they're saying that it's going to get hot and it's going to jump down to 9.2 teraflops and everything else like that. Now, AMD already said that their Radeon RDNA 2 is 50% faster than the RDNA 1. So we already know that it's not going to clock all the way down that far. I have a 5700 XT in my system right now. That one is clocked at like 1700, which is 1.7 gigahertz, and those are RDNA 1 cores, and it's 40 CUs in there. But the RDNA 2 is 50% faster, and it has 36 in the PlayStation 5, and it's running higher. So and they said when it gets hot, it's going to drop a percentage or whatever. So it's not going to drop all the way to 9.2 teraflops where everybody is saying. I'm thinking it's going to drop down to probably 10 teraflops or something like that, or maybe even 9.8 or something like that. But it's not going to drop all the way down to 9.2 when it gets hot, especially after the testing that they said that they did to it. They tested at the top heat, so it can run at that all the time or whatever. And if it actually manages to get hotter than that, then it will drop. But they're believing that it's going to run at 10.3 teraflops all the time. And for system memory, now I said other YouTube channels was lying about this too. The system memory is 16 gigabytes of DDR6, and it's 448 gigabytes. It's 448 gigabytes. Now, some people were saying that it was running at 256 gigabytes or something like that, but it's not. It's running at 448. So in the Xbox, I believe I'm going to get into that next. I'm going to switch over to the Xbox in a minute, and I'm going to basically kind of compare them. But I believe the Xbox is at 500 and something. And then it drops down, and then it has 6 gigs of that memory that drops down to like 300 and something. PlayStation is going to run at 448 gigabyte bandwidth through all 16 of the gigs of RAM. So that's why theirs is like that. I'm pretty sure if they downclock some RAM, and they could have upclocked some other RAM, and they could make it actually the same exact as the same exact as the Xbox, but they didn't. Now the SSD is only 825 gigabytes. Yeah, so they get kind of slapped on that, but their SSD is actually more powerful than the Xbox. They put way more stuff in it than the Xbox did. So it actually does more for their system, and they actually have the industry standard decompression in theirs or whatever, which is the Kraken decompression. So that's going to be better than the Xbox 2 that's in their SSD and everything. So it's going to be able to decompress the files better to go inside the SSD or whatever. So I don't believe you would need a terabyte, because I don't think it would take I don't think the files will take as much space in a terabyte hard drive or in a 825 gigabit hard drive as it would if you didn't have the compression power that they put into this SSD. That's what a lot of people is not getting too. And then they have a UHD Blu-ray hard drive in it, and then the bandwidth, the reading bandwidth is 5.5 for the SSD. So, and like I said, that is pretty fast. So, and you're gonna have to go and where they did screw up at, you're gonna have to go and buy your own M.2 SSD and put it in there. You're gonna have to wait for them to tell you what kind that you can actually get to put in there. I just looked it up. A terabyte M.2 4.0 PCI 4.0 is around $199. So you're gonna be coming out $199 if you're planning on getting a terabyte. And that was a non-name brand one. I mean, I probably still use the Sony memory on there and everything else like that, or not the Sony, but the Samsung memory on there and everything like that. But it was a non-name brand, and it was $199 for a terabyte. So, but the good thing about that, he said, when you slide it in, it uses the same. It'll use the stuff from their chip, and their chip will actually do all the work the extra work that they put in on their chip, and it will do it for the other M.2 that you put in, even though the other M.2 doesn't have their software or their tech in it. So it will put that and do it for you. Okay, and next up, basically that's it. That's it for everything or whatever. But yeah, it's like I said, there's a lot of people there. They're doing a lot of talking and whatever, and they're pretty much not telling you right stuff or whatever. Especially with the RDNA 2 GPU. They're telling everybody that it's not real RDNA 2 or whatever. They spliced it with something else and everything. They didn't. He said that they took certain components out. Everything as far as the CUs and everything, he stated it on there. As far as the CUs, which actually runs the GPU, the CUs and everything, those are RDNA 2. Now, it's some different aspects that they did not need inside of there that they took out, but the cores and everything are actually RDNA 2 cores. So, what more do you want? And then they use some of the aspects from the RDNA 2. They took some of the stuff out, and they actually put more of their stuff in or whatever that AMD might use in their desktop graphics cards. So they said AMD will come out and tell you if they use some of the Sony stuff in their graphics cards when there's time for theirs to come out. But I'm going to switch over to the Xbox now, basically, and basically kind of tell you or whatever what's going on with that. So basically, with the Xbox, instead of it running at they have 8 cores, 16 threads. Um, they mix theirs up. Okay, so their developers can use um 8 cores only with 3.8 gigahertz, and then they can use the simultaneous multi-threading with 3.6 gigahertz. So PlayStation, you can only use, I guess the devs can only use the simultaneous multi-threading. So that's why theirs is 3.5 instead of the 3.8, because they can only use the simultaneous multi-threading. They can't use just 8 cores. And then Xbox has 52 CUs of RDNA 2. So yeah, they are going to be. I mean, it's noticeably better. It's 12 teraflops of RDNA 2. 12 teraflops of RDNA 2 is going to be better than 10 teraflops of DNA 2. I'm sorry, there's no way around that. Now, if it was something different, then it would be. Now, it's on seven nanometer enhanced or whatever, so it's the same as the PlayStations. Their memory is going to be 16 gigabytes. The memory is 16 gigabytes of GDDR6, the same as PlayStation's. Now theirs, they have like I said before, they 10 gigabytes of that's 560 gigabytes a second memory, and they have 6 gigabytes. That's 336 gigabytes. And all of PlayStation's is 448 gigabytes. So they don't go up and down with the memory. They don't have 6 gigs. It's only 336. So that's where theirs differ at. They have basically a terabyte custom SSD. So they put the whole terabyte in there, whatever. But like I said, PlayStation's SSD is better. So, and then what else they have here? They basically have, as far as their compression, their compression is pretty much the same. Except for Sony said they have basically they got the industry leader, which is the Kraken decompression and compression and decompression and stuff like that. So I don't know which one Microsoft has at all. The Xbox has at all. They just say custom hardware decompression. And as far as expandable storage, both of them, if you're using like old games such as like PlayStation 4 games or Xbox One X games and stuff like that, then you can use a a standard hard drive, that's 3.1 or whatever, or 3.0 or something like that, whatever. But if you're using if you want to play Xbox One series, or Xbox Series X games or PlayStation 5 games, you're going to have to get their proprietary hard drive, Xbox proprietary hard drive, or you're going to have to buy a M.2 to put in your PlayStation 5. And they both have 4K Blu-ray drives, and both of them is 4K 60 and up to 120 frames per second. So that's not going to change. Now, Xbox probably is going to do that better because it's 12 teraflops, but in the grand scheme of things, with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One X, people are saying that Xbox One X was so extremely better, but really, if you play the same games or whatever, they didn't really look extremely better. They didn't. They looked a little bit better. I could tell you that they looked a little bit better, but it wasn't leaps and bounds. And you got to think about it, that was pretty much the same jump. PlayStation 4 Pro had 4 teraflops, and the Xbox One X had 6. So it's pretty much the same, and we're around diminishing returns right now. So Eh, but like I said, you can call it however you want it. I'm not saying that that Xbox didn't slap them in the teraflops in the raw power and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. So it says whatever you like. I'm getting the PlayStation 5 when it first comes out. I'm going to wait around to get an Xbox, a Series X, because let's just face it, they don't have the games. They don't have the games. But that's been my breakdown of the PlayStation 5. You can't even say reveal. It's just a PlayStation 5 conference meeting or whatever. Basically talking to devs and stuff like that. But it's basically their spec reveal. Yeah, the PlayStation 5 spec reveal. That's what I'm gonna call it. That's my breakdown of the PlayStation 5 spec reveal and basically the Xbox One X head to head. Alright, so that's it. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. I'm out.